Well guys, remember about not even, I don't know, like 2 or 3 weeks ago when I did my Star vs. the Forces of Evil teaser analysis video? Well guess what guys? They made a freaking trailer! I just so happened to be scourging around YouTube and I found the video for the trailer of Battle for Mewni. And I also saw the trailer for My Little Pony, which was, it was pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. But I mean, who watches that, am I right? So without further ado, you obviously know what this video is all about. It's about that trailer. So put your thinking caps on and let's analyze this beast. So of course the very first thing on the list to point out is when we see Star holding Omnitrax, Hekapoo, and Romulus like a balloon. And of course the simple reasoning behind why they're floating like that is because all of their energy has been away from their body for a while now. Which is basically the same exact scenario that happened with Glossaric in the episode The Page Turner. And of course there's one little thing to realize, and it's that the Chancellor is nowhere to be seen. And that was because when he was giving away energy in the last season 2 episode, his body completely disintegrated. Luckily, Moon Butterfly was able to actually put in all of his remains into some kind of container. Okay, I'm sorry, I forgot what it was called. It was actually one of his goat antlers. So I'm pretty confident that she saved it for a reason to revive him somehow. And we even see further in the trailer that Omnitraxis, well, not Omnitraxis, but we see that Romulus and Hekapoo are still alive. They probably were able to come back to life once Star and Moon reached to their destination where they are right now. And let's not also forget about the fact that Star and Moon are both wearing the same exact clothing they wore before they left in the episode Star Crushed. Plus, we also see that Star is wearing Marco's jacket around her neck, so I'm guessing that she took that with her as a souvenir or something. In this very next clip, we finally get to see the insides of the temple, or wherever they are. And you can tell just by looking at the statues inside of the temple that they all seem to have a gem on top of their head like Glossaric does. I could almost say that these statues are a representation of Glossaric, however, even though they have some blue stains on there, I still feel like this isn't Glossaric in a way. The statues just don't look like him. However, the only Glossaric that we truly even see throughout the entire generations of the Star Butterfly family is the same Glossaric that we all know now. Yes, and it also looks like they're walking towards a gem made for Glossaric. And then there was the episode Crystal Clear where Romulus clearly explains that,
"You know that fancy crystal in his head? I gave it to him!"
So not only does this scene kind of confuse me in a way, but this also makes me rethink the fact that these statues have to be representing Glossaric. Wouldn't he be the only Glossaric to have that gem? Then it goes on to showing the tapestry between Moon Butterfly and Toffee, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna go in depth into the whole backstory of how they met and why they fought and all the different stuff. And then there seems to be a conversation between Buff Frog and Moon Butterfly talking about Star and how weird she can be sometimes, I guess. And this is probably gonna be very important to the story because maybe we're gonna actually get to see how Moon interacts with different monsters. And most of all, even though Star can be kind of weird, she actually befriends quite a lot of monsters on the way. And then once again, we catch Star in the act of spying on Marco, and oddly enough, he is quite miserable without her. And also, if you realize, she's wearing the hoodie almost pretty much the exact same way she wore it in the episode Into the Wand. So like, was that symbolism for something? We can also see in this clip that surrounding her is the stuff that she brought to Earth. And also notice that the background is rumbling. And yes, it's towards the end of this clip, but it's still happening. And I guess what would explain this would be a possible explosion or something that happens before they actually reach Mewni, or while they were inside of Mewni, something happened. And we can even observe in the very next clip that Star has already torn Marco's jacket a lot. But this also could have been their first attempt trying to go after Toffee, and they just failed somehow. Which is why Star is saying to Moon, her mother, that they shouldn't give up. And we also see some random plants going after Moon Butterfly, which I think is from the forces of evil that Toffee probably unleashed. Because remember, it's the forces of evil, it's not particularly monsters. Look, I'm doing the best I can, okay? And also during the same exact sequence, we see that Star is wearing some sort of purple hat on top of her head, which could be a disguise. And plus, we even hear Moon try to say to Star that he might find them. So it definitely sounds like they're trying to hide from him. Obviously, Obviously, I'm referring to Toffee. And finally, we get to see the return of Mina Loveberry. I knew that wasn't going to be the last time we get to see her. First, we got to see her reveal in the new Season 3 introduction, and now we get to see her again in this 2-hour premiere. And it seems like she's going to be fighting alongside with Marco, King Butterfly, and the rest of the Mewmins, and they are definitely preparing to a fight, or I mean for a fight. Now, one thing I have to admit is that I'm most likely, well, no, not most likely, I am completely wrong about what I said before. I had assumed that whenever I had seen Ludo on top of the spider alongside with the bird and the rats on his side, that this is most likely a past memory before he actually realized that Toffee took control of his body. But it looks to be the fact that Toffee must have taken control over Ludo, and Ludo was aware of that, and so his deal was that he was going to take over Mewni with him. And this is honestly a shame because Ludo is just being a complete jerk right now. I mean, it's good to see that Ludo has become a true villain throughout the entire series, but there is almost next to no reason to feel sorry for this guy because he literally locked his parents out of their own home when he was a kid, and that was how he was able to get the castle in the first place. I guess coming from his father's perspective, I kind of see why he became the rebellious child. But seriously, in the episode Star Crushed, when Moon was actually mentioning his brother Dennis to him, did he actually even care? Was that just a setup the whole time? Could it be that he really does know the whereabouts of where Glossaric is located at the moment? Because even throughout the entire trailer, he is nowhere to be seen, except for, of course, the tapestry, but you get the point. Okay, now I'm starting to get off topic here. Let me just start going on to the next clips. In the next one, we see Hekapoo, and she actually mentions the fact that they should probably sign the peace treaty. Maybe they're talking about a peace treaty between the monsters and the Mewmins, because just like in Mutapint's day, they're separated. And once again, what do you know? Hekapoo and Romulus are still alive. Maybe that's why in the beginning we saw them go up to the temple. Maybe that gem somehow gives them their powers back or something. In the next clip, we see that Ludo apparently captures King Butterfly. So does this mean that Marco and the rest of the Mewmins are captured too? Because if they have King Butterfly, who seemed to be the leader of the rebellion against the monsters, then what exactly happened to the rest of those people? However, we also see later on that Marco was saying, now we fight. So maybe they were able to get away and King Butterfly just got captured and they were able to survive somehow. Oh yeah, and Ruba Riot is here. Also, before I go any further with the scene between Ludo and King Butterfly, I would like to mention the fact that there is a specific reason why Toffee chose King Butterfly, I believe. In the next clip, we see that Star's wand has turned green and not to the purple pinkish color that we're used to. One of two reasons could be that Toffee is taking over the magic, or of course number two could be Star's emotional state at the moment. Now what I really wanted to get to was this part of the trailer when they start talking about a family affair. Now, not only did Toffee kill Moon Butterfly's mother, but Toffee wanted to probably lock up King Butterfly so that way he could become king and forcibly marry the queen, also known as, of course, Moon Butterfly. I feel like this flashback or backstory between him and Moon Butterfly is gonna be a revenge story. Moon was probably so upset of what happened to her mother that she wanted to get revenge on Toffee by using the dark spells, which is why towards the end of the trailer we hear her say this:
Eclipsa's alive, and I made a deal with her.
So yes, it's very much true. Eclipsa is not only alive, but it could be true that she made a deal with Eclipsa, and that's why she's so afraid of her. She knows about the dangers of the dark spells because she herself has witnessed it, and that's why she really wants Star to stay away from it. And I apologize for moving back and forth between different places in the trailer, but I'm trying to put all the pieces of the puzzle together as fast as possible. So after the clip with Ruba Riot included alongside with Marco, which I will skip for now because I mentioned it before, we see that Star is fighting the rats, but this time she's fighting them without her wand. She probably has either lost control of her wand for right now because of her emotional state, or possibly something else. Or it could be that if Toffee found the other piece of the wand, he could become even more powerful. But either way, it's alright because we've seen Star dip down before and she can use magic without her wand. But however, I don't think she's an expert at it yet. So, we'll see what happens, I guess. It looks to me as if in this scene, Ludo is actually training with Toffee's new wand hand, and perhaps we're gonna get an explanation of why he isn't freaking out having these powers. I'm telling you, Toffee did a deal with Ludo or something. Also, most importantly, he's shooting the Book of Spells and saying Levitato, so maybe they're gonna hide it somewhere. Remember, Levitato's the spell he used to lift up certain objects, so I don't think they're gonna destroy the Book of Spells. It looks like they're just lifting up somewhere. Then there's a small segment with Mina Loveberry smacking a monster king of some sort, I believe. And according to Star in the episode Starstruck, Mina Loveberry is being one of the most powerful warriors of Mewni, so she could be a great help for Mewni and the team. Now in this small, and I mean extremely small scene with Toffee and his armor, this should be without a shadow of a doubt a flashback of how it all began, especially since his hands seem to be intact, especially his fingers. And then we see Star and Moon trapped in a tar-like substance, but it doesn't look very dangerous, so I guess there's none to really mention here. And in this next one, like I said earlier in this trailer analysis, Moon is going to be using the Book of Spells for Eclipsa, and most likely use her magic to get revenge on Toffee. And I personally call this the Undaunted deal, because, you know, she's Moon the Undaunted, and it's a deal between her and Eclipsa. I made that up myself. And with all that being said, that is basically the end of this trailer analysis video. There was a ton of stuff that they spliced in here, but it wasn't too much to the point where this is a 20-minute video, but it was a pretty darn long analysis, I'll give them that. So obviously this is the end of my trailer analysis for the Star vs. the Force of Evil 2-hour premiere. Like the video if you haven't. If you dislike it, please give me a reason why you disliked it, because I really want to know. And most of all, subscribe if you haven't, because we are about to reach 100,000 subscribers and I can't wait until that day happens. Once again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.